running to me, going back to high school, was something that I did not enjoy. I was a sprinter. I was not a distance runner. Anything, let's say a mile. A mile was ridiculous to me. I didn't understand why anybody would run a mile, and it was something that I absolutely put a lot of effort into not wanting to do if it was definitely near a mile. As I went into college and started to gain weight because I was no longer playing sports, running became just a thing I did to kind of burn calories and drop some weight. It was never something I thought about being. Like, I would have never thought I want to be a runner. Like, to me, that was not something that you could just be. You went to the gym, you were a lifter, you were a bodybuilder, you were those type of things, but you were just not a runner. And that was in the 90s, late 90s, when I was in college, packing on some weight. And then once I left college and went on to get my job, packing on weight became a thing. It was very easy to pack on weight, riding a desk and eating poorly and not having enough calories being burned to keep your weight. Something that was manageable. So when I was in my mid-20s, I was getting married, and once again, I used running to lose weight. And then over the next 5 years, approaching 30 years old, kind of packed some more weight on again, still riding the desk, and I started changing my mind about running and started thinking, you know what, I really do want to participate in some sort of sport that I can manage the time myself, meaning it's not part of a team, not a softball team or anything like that. Running started to come onto the radar. I started reading books. I read Ultramarathon Man and Born to Run. And at this point, I had been running 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, and really fell in love with running. And with my personality type, which is a little more on the OCD side, distance and time became my focus. I wanted to run further. I wanted to run faster. And I was limited a little bit by my genetics. I wouldn't say I am a distance runner. I still have a hard time saying that I'm a distance runner. I'm a sprinter, someone who is very fast, that is able now to basically run like a tank for a very, very long time. So once I became a marathoner and a road warrior, beating myself up on the roads, hurting my hips and feet and knees and stuff like that, I started really thinking about those books, Ultramarathon Man, Born to Run, and running a 100-mile race and trail running. And about 2013, 2014, I really switched over to really enjoying more and more trails. And that's kind of how I got into ultramarathon running. And the focus was literally just to run as many miles as I could in the woods. And those of you who have watched this channel for a very long time, that's where the motivation theory, what was it called back then? See John Run. When this channel and all of this began back in 2014, 2015. I started filming myself on the trails and really kind of sharing my story, and that's how this channel was born. And so over the last 10 years, I have focused predominantly on ultra marathons. I've run, 25 ultra marathons. I just ran my first 100-mile race, which was ultimately the main goal that I had over the last 10, 12 years, was to get to that 100-mile distance. To me, that 100-mile distance was like, I don't even know, that was the bucket list item that I didn't know if I could ever get to, because again, I never thought of myself as a distance runner. I'm 6 foot. I ride anywhere between 190 and like 215 at any point in time. I'm not a waif. I wouldn't say I'm particularly fast in ultras. I think I could train and get myself there. There's been times where I can run a pretty speedy 50K, but I would never be competitive within actual finishing in the top 5 or anything like that. Age group, I could probably, if I really, really wanted to, maybe compete, maybe in those lower distances, but definitely not in the 100-mile distances. Those people are just built different. And so I say all of this for those of you who are looking to getting into running. I know this channel, I concentrate a lot on trail running and ultra running, but ultimately this channel is really about speaking to people to just get moving. It doesn't matter what the label is. It doesn't matter what distance you run. When I first started running, I had a treadmill similar to this one in my garage before this basement was finished. And because I was so ashamed that I couldn't run for 5 minutes, I would run in the garage. I ran in the garage so I could run 5 minutes, and I ran in there until I could run a mile, then 2 and 3. And then I felt that I had to be able to run a certain distance to be able to go outside and run, because runners didn't walk. And, I completely am against all of that now. And I think had I thought about it back then a little bit more, it would have made more sense. But I just wasn't there at that time. I want people to move. I want people to think of themselves not in the terms of I'm a runner or not a runner and those people are runners. I just think of a term that you're comfortable with. It really doesn't matter. You need to move. You need to be healthy. This is a you better use it or you're going to lose it type thing. I talk to tons of people that are always hemmed up. My knee this, my knee that. I can't do this. I can't do that. And they were typically never people that were runners. And I do notice when I don't run or I take long breaks, things will start to kind of ache. And I do believe that movement helps you keep your body healthy. And I think a healthy amount of running or walking or lifting and maintaining your body is needed to help all of us as we age. Not only maintaining healthy weight, but also maintaining your body. And just because I run ultramarathons doesn't mean I expect everyone who views this channel to run ultramarathons. I just want people to move. I am just as happy for those of you who are out there running a mile a day, 2 miles a day, getting in the trails, doing a walk run thing for an hour. That's awesome. That's what this whole channel is about, is just maintaining yourself, and we celebrate all of that. So if you are somebody who has no plans to ever run an ultramarathon, it doesn't matter. You're welcome here, and I'm talking to all of you. So those of you who see me do videos on how to start running and doing this, and you're probably like, why is he doing that content for people that are running ultramarathons? I'm not doing that content for people who run ultramarathons. I'm doing that content to grow the sport of running and to open it to a larger audience of people who can get on their own path and realize maybe they do enjoy going on trails or paths and things like that. And they don't have to become ultra runners. I love trail running. Ultimately, I love trail running. If there was just nothing but 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons in the woods, I'd probably run a lot more of those. There's not a ton of those, at least not where I am. I have run a trail half marathon. That was actually the first trail race I ever ran, was a half marathon. They're fun. They're absolutely fun. And I just think people getting out in nature and getting movement is just the most important thing. So ultimately, if you can take anything away from my story, if I can do it, you can do it. And I think that you just have to change your mindset and stop thinking about things in terms of what your experiences has been with people you see running or who you think a runner is. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Just get out there, get moving, and enjoy the blessing it is to have your body healthy and to be able to move at whatever speed that speed is. So that was a quick story time. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to do more of these things where I kind of share myself, not the vlogging style, but just, you know what I'm saying. Talk a little bit more about my story, because people come into a channel and they have an assumption that this is just the way things always have been. That is not always the truth. I've had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of starts, failures, start back up again. And those of you who've been on this channel a long time know that. And I've been running consistently now for 4 years, and this is the longest I've ever done that. And I'm super proud of that, and I'm super proud of all of you who have been on your own stories and on your own paths through all of this. And I know a lot of you who, I've learned your stories over time, and, life's tough. You can take it on chin a lot, and all that matters is that you get back up and keep moving. One foot in front of the other. That's what we do in running. One foot in front of the other. So thanks for watching. And until next time, if you want to learn a little bit more about me, go ahead and click over here and take you some playlists that talk a little bit more about my story and my journey. Take care. Thanks for watching.